Now, paper is absolutely critical for my pastel technique. It's by far the most important thing. If you don't get the paper right and it doesn't work how I need it to, I can't get my layers or my details on top. In this video, you're going to learn the 3 differences between a paper that will hold the layers as I need it to and one that doesn't, so that you can judge for yourself if you're testing various papers out quite quickly whether they're going to work or not. Now, the paper you're going to see me use in this video is by Canson and it's called Métiers Touch. Now, that's critical, the touch part on the end, for you to know the type of paper, because don't get it mixed up with the one that I've recently tested, Canson Métiers Velvet. Now, that's the one that I found fantastic for my style and the one that it then sold out pretty much all over the world. So don't get those 2 papers mistaken. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts as well, so make sure in the comments that you actually tell me if you found any papers that you think I should test, the ones that you think will work good with my style and also ones that won't. I'd love to hear what you think. Okay, I'm not going to alter the way I draw. I'm just going to pretend it's pastel matte paper or a new Canson paper, and I'm just going to draw as I would normally, because my way of thinking is, let's move this light a little bit. If I've got to go changing my techniques completely to get this paper to make it look realistic, then there's no point, because when you go to a different paper, so say I then went to pastel matte, then whatever I've done on this paper is not transferable as such relative to that paper. Okay, so I'm going to just pretend it's pastel matte paper. Now, straight off, I can tell you that blends much easier than pastel matte paper or the Canson Velvet paper. So let's have a bit of the velvet paper by the side. I'll do what I just did on there, on here. Okay, now when I blend here, let's use a clean finger. You see how this blended away to nothing, and this is holding. That's going to tell me, I think, straight away that the layers on top are going to get muddy. You see how the pastel dust is falling, whereas on pastel matte and the Canson paper we don't get dust like that at all. You don't get it. It holds into the paper much better, and that's just straight off looking at it. Okay, as I said, I'm not altering my technique to suit this paper. This paper needs to suit my technique. The surface itself feels, you know, nice. It's got a texture to it, a roughness to it, which you need with pastels. We need to have some form of texture to be able to hold the pastels, don't we? Otherwise it's just going to be dusty and fall away. But I can see, you know, as I'm doing it, there's dust falling. So now if this was pastel matte or the new Canson, I would be able to rub that and it wouldn't do that. Let me show you again. Let's get, what do I go by here? A bit of pastel matte paper. So if I'd done that, I'll put a few lines in and then blended it. See how it holds it, even though this feels substantially smoother than this. This feels rougher. You would then assume that's going to hold it. It's not, okay? This holds the line. This just smudges away. So I've got a feeling immediately that we're not going to be in luck with this paper, which is a shame. I need to find something for my members that's good enough, but is cheap enough that they can practice with. What you get if you're You know, if you're a beginner and it's all smudging and you've got dust everywhere, you just get disheartened because it's like, well, why is this not working? And this paper may be, I haven't looked up the price, but let's just say it's half the price. If it ends up in the bin, well, that's not really cheap. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. What I'm getting is everything blending together, smudging together, pastel falling everywhere. Even though I'm trying to reserve areas. See, it's picking up on my pencils. Could you do a drawing with this paper? Yes, but I think what you've got to do is be much more looser style, you know, direct pastels, kind of probably using more sticks as well, not building layers and going on top, but rather, you know, doing like direct layer like that and don't expect to be building layers on top. So if I come here, it's really picking up on my fingers, on the tip of the pencil. I'm having to wipe it. I think if a paper does that straight away, that's your warning sign. This is probably not going to work. The paper should, for the technique I use, hold the pastel. It shouldn't be falling down the paper like this. Not with my style. Somebody else, with the way they do it, okay, it might be different, but that's not what I'm testing this for. I want it to work for my technique. Okay, I'm going to give up on that because I can tell you straight away, that that's not doing what I want it to do. And I can see that what I'm going to end up with is something that looks like an animal, but I'm going to be fighting this paper all the time. And if I was a beginner, I don't want to be fighting the paper. I want it to be working with me. See, especially trying to put light on top of dark, that's where it's just smudging and coming back onto the pencil. So unfortunately, that's not a great paper for me to use. Hopefully that video was of use to you. Now, I think the next video you should watch is where I am using Canson Velvet, and you can see the massive difference between using that paper and the touch paper.